All we ever wanted was a level playing field. And here we have it. We tried to give the SEC an opportunity, but Coinbase responding with a lawsuit immediately after the SEC denies the transparent crypto regulation. It's all we ever wanted was that level playing field. And they deny it once again. And we have a response from Coinbase and a lawsuit filed right away. Now, as I've been saying, the damages are absolutely massive. Before I get going, I just want to apologize if the lighting's off. I don't know if this is going to be too bright. I was trying to find the right spot here. So we got good light, good sound, and we're going to cover this one real quickly. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. Before I get started, I just want to throw out one thing too. They've now permanently dropped the price on the Trezor T and a couple other wallets there from Trezor. And then also EliPal is hooking me up with a new link as well. And so at my website, zachrector.com, you can get EliPal Titan or you can get Trezor. And I know a lot of people like both those wallets. I just want you guys to get good deals on them if you choose to use them. I'm not here to tell you what wallet, exchange, or any financial advice, tax, or legal either. I'm just here to share what I do. And if I can hook up the community with a cheaper price on these products, that's why I have my affiliate links down below. And it is, of course, is a way to support the show. So I greatly appreciate that. Now, in regards to exchanges, Coinbase just trying to do the right thing. And I've always said that Coinbase, I think, is going to make it through this storm out on the other side. Whether they get acquired by a big bank or something down the road, we'll see. But in the meantime, Coinbase says promises made, promises kept. And this is the chief legal officer, Paul Grewal. We are now on file with the Third Circuit to challenge the SEC's arbitrary and capricious denial of our petition for crypto rulemaking. We again appreciate the court's consideration. And he files the documents. Now, Bill Morgan, one of the lawyers on Twitter here who's been commenting on the SEC Ripple case and a few of the others, he chimes in and he says, I love the immediate response made so quickly. Good to see that the petition for review refers to the dissent of two commissioners. That would be Hester Pierce and Uade. I got to get his last name right, probably mispronouncing that, but two SEC commissioners, including Hester Pierce, said that they didn't agree with this decision. They put out their notice right after the SEC denied this motion from Coinbase. These two commissioners responded right away and said that they dissent. So Coinbase has now been able to include that in the lawsuit, in their move here. Coinbase now knows it is in for a long fight, just like with Ripple. I am sure you knew it already, but the SEC's denial of the petition just made it clear. And so that's the breakdown. I have the full thread here from Paul Grewal. He says, today the SEC denied Coinbase's petition for rules for crypto. This was a petition that they made trying to get the SEC to respond. I mean, simple questions like, is Ethereum a security? Why can they not answer that, right? They don't comment on any one coin or stock in particular. They don't have any answer, really, right? They just dance around these issues. And when it was time to make a statement, Bill Hinman went up there after he was told not to say some of the things that he went up there and said. He was willing to give that free pass, and the rest is history, and the damages are massive, as we've been talking about. So now we have an allegiance here with Coinbase. I'm glad to see that they finally relisted XRP. I would have loved to see them stand up like Uphold did and keep XRP listed throughout the whole lawsuit. But I understand why, because you're in a fight, you're spending tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars just fighting to get regulations and, a level playing field is all we ever wanted. And after 18 months of silence, we went to the court to get the response the law requires. With appreciation for the Third Circuit, later today, we'll again seek its help by challenging the SEC's abdication of its duty. No one looking fairly at our industry thinks that the law is clear or that there isn't more work to do. 100%. In congressional testimony after we were permitted to list in 2021, right, their IPO was approved. They were allowed to go public. Coinbase, their stock's been pumping tremendously ever since a little bit before Binance collapsed. Binance didn't collapse before Binance went and handed Secretary of Treasury Janet Yellen a little check and did a little deal with our government. Ever since then, Coinbase has been pumping, their stock has. And that's the whole hypocrisy of the situation, is the SEC already approved their IPO, and the fact that they already had most of these coins listed on their platform, yet the SEC didn't chime in when it was time to do an approval. The SEC chair himself declared that there are no regulatory authorities applicable to the cryptocurrency exchanges. Meanwhile, this week, the CFTC chair, that was Blaine, stated that under existing law, many of the tokens constitute commodities. In and of themselves, these tokens are not securities, most of them. The ICO offerings that were done, almost all of them are securities. You had some form of investment contract. Even if it wasn't a contract written out on a piece of paper, you don't need that for there to be a common enterprise based off the expectation of profits, based off the efforts of others. So the laws on the books, as the SEC states in their decision to deny this petition today, they are correct in that there are plenty of laws on the books in regards to securities laws. They are trying to lump in crypto asset securities, this new term, and they're trying to blanket cover all these different cryptos. But to do that, you really have to go coin by coin. And until we have a set standard, a level playing field, the rules of the road, you have to go case by case. But very clearly, I've always said all these ICOs, most of them probably were a securities offering because they were, some sort of investment contract. That's where you get caught up. That's where Ripple, the ruling was institutional sales were securities offering. It wasn't XRP in and of itself, which by virtue of that ruling, it makes XRP a commodity. And it also has been recognized as a currency by FinCEN in the early 2015 settlement already. So we already have XRP called a virtual currency. We have it called a digital token by Judge Torres that in and of itself is not a security. That makes it a commodity. Benham coming out here today and saying that most cryptos are commodities. The tokens themselves are not a security investment contract. But that's not stopping the SEC. And instead of coming to Congress and before they file any more lawsuits, actually getting the laws on the books, before doing that, they're just firing off here blanket cases like they just did with Kraken, saying that 15, 20 of their tokens were securities. Now we're going to have to go case by case out in the courts here and fight this out. So meanwhile, this week, CFTC chair stated that under existing law, many of the tokens constitute commodities. We're grateful that two commissioners disagreed with the denial and called for real dialogue, an open conversation, right? We should be working together to create laws and rules that will benefit consumers and U.S. innovation, not defending lawsuits based on legal positions that change month after month, commissioner after commissioner. I mean, they can't even agree. Chairman Jay Clayton, Gary Gensler, this whole switchover that we thought was going to be positive. Okay, Gary, although he, was the CFO of the criminal campaign conspiracy, I'm sure he's innocent in that regard. I didn't mean to include that part in the video. Whoops. All that aside, I'm sure there's nothing there. We thought that he taught MIT DLT technology, crypto, blockchain. He was teaching it at MIT. He was going to come in and understand the technology, unlike all these other, politicians that call it Bitcom, that call it Binance. I mean, right? We don't even have people that use a cell phone barely anymore, right? They probably have their staffer handle all their communications on a phone. You got to call them on the home line if you want to get a hold of some of these congressmen and women that are just ancient. And meanwhile, the SEC won't even, respond here, denying what Coinbase was trying to do, which was just understand the rules here. Everybody's been trying to come in, just like they say, just come on in. No, we've been trying to come in, right? We've been trying to have open dialogue, and it's not stopping you. Now, John Deaton says, Gary Gensler, with the backing of Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth, I got a plan for that Warren. And she just introduced that most recent crypto bill that's a complete disaster. They don't care. It's not, but that's the plan. That's the agenda, is to kill all of crypto, roll out CBDC, complete control. She's got a plan for that Warren. Gary Gensler, with the backing of Elizabeth Warren, is 100% gaslighting the American people. In this letter, he states that there is nothing unique or new about cryptocurrencies and states that existing laws easily are applied to crypto. But that's not what Gensler said under oath. Oh boy. At his confirmation hearing, Gensler said that crypto fell outside the purview of the SEC and the CFTC. He stated that the unique nature of crypto created a regulatory gap. Gensler was not alone in this determination. From the Hinman speech emails, we brought those up a little bit ago, we learned that the Office of General Counsel and others also believe that crypto fell into this regulatory gap, and they told Hinman not to say what he went up there and said, which was that Ether is not a security. And the free pass story, you guys know. The Coinbase petition for rulemaking simply recognized what Gensler and other leaders of the SEC believed, except now Gensler has done a 180 pivot for political reasons. The SEC is supposed to be independent from politics. Instead, it is just one more federal agency weaponized against the American people. And that's why I call it the three-letter agency bureaucracy beast that they've created in DC. I hope that we can save our country from these people. These people are sick. The corruption is unbelievable. And we can talk about that all night long. But to get to the point, we just wanted a level playing field. So you guys came after us. Now we have to go on the defense. And thank God we have the truth, we have the Constitution, and we got some lawyers who are willing to fight like heck to set this thing right. And we got companies like Brad with Ripple that got big checks to drop over $200 million battling the lawsuit. Didn't stop them from the hundreds of millions that they've donated to charity and all their different initiatives and projects. And it didn't stop their adoption either, but we could talk about that in a different video. That's why Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple, Brad's the real boss of this space. He's the real king of crypto. What they did with that lawsuit was really put them back in their place. And I love to see Coinbase, right after they get the denial from the SEC, serving that notice, serving those papers. We'll see you in court. Sometimes it has to be this way. This is the path that they want to take. God bless them. I might go buy some crypto on Coinbase just to support the cause. Let them collect a fee. This is what we have to do in this country now, is put up one heck of a fight against these folks. They have no shame. Even when the courts ruled against them, Gary Gensler now doesn't want to recognize the XRP ruling. He's willing to take a new look at the Bitcoin spot ETFs after some of the most recent court rulings. But in regards to XRP, he doesn't have time for that. And I'm sure it's because they, got some sort of appeal up their sleeve. Even though they were denied interlocutory appeal, it's not going to stop them. They have no shame. Anyways, we'll see what happens. I'm going to be covering in another video Ripple's 2024 predictions. It's going to be very exciting. So make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell if you like the video. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys want to see next. We're going to keep the hits coming over here. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much. God bless.